So our last class was yesterday where we did a revision, and let's quickly revise what we have done so far. Then we can take forward from there. Yes, we can start. Yeah, we have started. Let's quickly do the revision. Then we'll go with the topics that we have planned for today. Okay. So yesterday class, we started with how to set up lead code and submit a question. So I introduced you to the platform of lead code. Some of you might already know, some of you might not know. I told you how to efficiently use lead code in order to prepare for the product-based companies. I discussed about discuss section, top 100 questions, top interview questions. These are free, guys. Irrespective whether you have premium account or you don't have premium account, both of you, all of you can access this part. Top 100 questions, top interview questions. And I believe I told you specifically, please bookmark these links. In your Chrome, you can bookmark, any browser you can bookmark. So it will be very helpful. Start solving questions in that way. Hardly 150 questions, 100 means 100. Interview questions, there are 145 as I've seen yesterday. They keep on changing. So hardly 150. And those 150 questions, if you solve it religiously, it will at least be able to bring it to a level where you can think of logics of solving other derivations. Okay. So these two things are very important, and let me mark them as important as well. So please do highlight whenever required. Okay, bookmark them. Then I told you how to submit a question. There is an interface which is on the left part. A question is shown. Test cases are shown. Sample test cases are visible. And then we can see constraint based upon constraint analysis. Right side, there is a list of languages and a code editor. All you have to do is just complete the function. You don't have to write the complete input output. You just need to complete the function. Okay. You complete the function, you run it, you pass the test cases, then you submit it. Okay. You'll be able to see how many test cases passed, what is the time taken, etc. etc. That is what we have seen. In today's class, we are going to solve questions on lead code as well. We have list of questions. Don't worry about it. Coming to my strategy, which I followed, I'm not saying this is the right strategy. Please feel free to invent yours. But what I would recommend is, in case you have to start as a beginner or in case you have very short amount of time, prepare in this way. That will be very helpful. It has been tested because I have taught more than 12,000 developers as of now. And I can tell you honestly, this is a strategy which works every time with every developer. Start with these two lists. Then most of the questions will be similar in these two lists because a lot of interview-based questions are also top 100 questions. Okay. Then once you have just like 2-3 weeks or 1 or 2 weeks before the interview, then you move to the company specific part. So in company specific, you can find the premium questions using lint code. Even if you want to use lint code, you can use Chrome extensions for that. And you can find all the particular questions which are asked in those companies. When you're solving those questions, please try to solve at least all questions asked in last 3 months. There is no point in solving last 2 years question, right? 2 years, 3 years pattern changes, right? Last 3 months, you will be aware with what kind of questions are they asking. Then you can solve those questions specifically. So that was the lead code strategy. Finally, moving to Dsa Basics. I make understand you the difference between data structures and algorithms. Data structures are just the containers which is used to store data. Algorithm is a step-by-step process to solve the question. Okay. We understood with a practical example as well, where I told you about bucket of liter. We got to know water is data, bucket is data structure, algorithm are the weights. Okay. Finally, move to the what, why, and how, which is going to be the generic template for any DS, for any algo that we are going to learn. Okay. This how part also we have done. So mark it is done. Now starting with arrays. First, understand the use case of array. Use case of array is if we have to create large number of same type of data types, it doesn't make sense to create that many variables, right? Example I've given, if 10 integers I have to create, I can create 10 integers, makes sense. But if somebody asks me to create 1,000 integers, how will I create 1,000 variables? And suppose if I created, let's say somehow I created 1,000 variables, how difficult it will become for me to adjust those 1,000 variables, to access those 1,000 variables. I have to remember 1,000 names, right? It will become very, very difficult for me. And 1,000 is a small number. What about million? What about 10,000? So it doesn't make sense to keep that many variables for same data type. Okay. That is why the introduction of arrays was put in the first place. Arrays is a collection of similar type of data types stored in a contiguous location. Now, two parts. First is similar type of data types. Second is contiguous location. Let's deep into it. Similar type means array is a homogeneous structure. It means every element will be of the exact same data type. You cannot say, for example, this part, this is array of integer. This is array of characters. But here few values are integers, few value are character, few value are something else. That does not qualify as an array. That is not even an array. There's nothing called mixed array. There's nothing called hybrid array. That won't even be an array in itself. Okay. And similarly, you can create array of any particular data type you want. String, integer, character, float, double, whatever you want. That was about similar type of data types. Then we introduce how do we create array, what is the syntax. Syntax is pretty much similar in all the languages apart from Golang. In Golang, you give after it. So in Java and Golang, you write like this, and pretty much is similar, right? So Golang, if I talk about, you type like this, A and T. That's all. Rest of the language pretty much is similar. In Python, since there are no data types, so you don't have to give data types. Arrays in C++, Java, Golang, it's similar as list in Python. Okay, whatever you call as list, you just create an array or list, you keep it like this. That list in Python is similar as arrays in Java, C++, or Golang. Okay. Next, we introduce how do we create it. So we create a data type, we create the name, and we create the size. So this is, we have created different array types. So for integer, for character, for string, for float, for boolean, etc, etc. Okay. Now coming to the part, how I can give values to the array. So there are two ways. First way is I create the array first, then I give the values. That is first way. Second way is the moment I'm creating the array, I just define the values. Okay. First part is called declaration. Second is called definition. Declaration is when you're creating a particular data type. Data type, array, variable, constant, function, whatever you want to give. That is declaration, the moment you are creating it. Definition is when you're giving value to it. Okay. Explained with variable, same goes with constant, same goes with function, same goes with anything else, or data structures as well. So when you're creating a value, that is called declaration. When you're assigning a value, that is when you call as definition. Here I created, here I assigned. So this is declaration, this is definition. And if I write like this, that is declaration plus definition. So coming to this part, it is both declaration and definition. That part we understood both the two ways. Okay. We also understood if you create an array of size 5 and you try to give the value 6, that will throw you an error. Why? Because you are giving index out of bound. Arrays are static in nature, guys. Static in the sense, once you have created it, you cannot change its size. For example, I created an array of size 5. I cannot change its value to store 4 values or to store 10 values. Size is fixed. 5 means 5. I cannot make it 4. I cannot make it 6. And this is the biggest drawback with the array because they are static in nature. Now, once you have created an array, you cannot modify the size. And sometimes in real life situation, you need to modify the size. Okay. You can never be 100% sure that this will be the exact number. For such use cases, and this is the reason dynamic array came into the picture, which you commonly call as vector. Vector in C++, array list in Java, vector in Java also, similar concept. And list by default, they are dynamic in Python. Okay. So that is one major drawback with the array is that first, once you create an array, you cannot change its size. And just to tell you an example, where in real life we need to change the size. I believe most of you guys have seen some kind of a sale, right? Either Flipkart, Amazon. You guys are in India, so you must know about Flipkart, Amazon sale. Yes or no? Yes or no? Any sale like birthday sale, New Year sale, whatever kind of sale, right? There are so many sales in the year. So if you were a developer at Flipkart, if you were a developer at Amazon, you will do what? Let's say you're targeting New Year sale. Just an example I'm taking. If you're targeting, let's say the recent festival, Holi sale. So you're targeting some kind of people who will come to your platform and they will buy some item. So you will make an expectation around it. Let's say 10 lakh people will come on my website, 10 lakh will order this much and I will get this much revenue. You will make some estimation. As a developer, can you be 100% sure that 10 lakh people will join? Can you be always 100% sure 10 lakh will join? No, sometimes even more can join. It can be 15 lakh, sometimes it can be 5 lakh. So just imagine if in production, if you were using an array, what would happen? If you were using an array in production, if more people join, they will not be able to access, right? Then it will be a bad customer experience. If less people join, let's say you create an array of size 10 lakh, people join 15 lakhs. Now rest 5 lakh people, they will not be able to access, bad customer experience, they're going to rate you bad. If only 5 lakh people join, you create an array of 10 lakh, then memory is wasted. Rest 5 lakh is empty, right? All those are occupied memory in the space. So your resources will get wastage. So in real life, we need something which is more flexible in nature, which is something which I can change it dynamically. As new people will be coming, I should be able to adjust size accordingly, increase or decrease, right? Another simple example can be the party plates, right? If you go into a wedding, you get the number of plates which are precise, right? Now imagine you invited 100 people, 200 people come. You have only 100 plates. How will you serve 200 people? You won't be able to do, right? Then those 100 extra guests, they will say bad things about you and they will leave, right? Because you're not giving them food in the first place. But imagine only 50 people joined. Now you ordered 100 plates. 50 people join. So 50 plates will be left out or they will be wasted basically. This is the reason, guys. This is one of the biggest drawbacks with the array, that it is static in nature. And due to this drawback, the introduction of vectors, Python is already dynamic. So list or array list in Java, that came into the picture. I hope this basic thing is clear. When we go to vectors, we'll discuss that in detail, but you should know the limitations, what does this array comes with. Okay, every data structure has some pros and has some cons as well. So this is a con of array. There's one more con that we'll see later. Anyhow, then we understood what is indexing. So indexing is just, purpose of indexing is to uniquely identify a particular data element in an array. Because we have so many values in the array, there should be some unique identifier. There should be some kind of indexing which access you a particular element. Just like in a book, there is a page number. Using that page number, every page will become unique. Okay. No two pages will have the same page number. Same concept. So we create indexing. Indexing goes from 0 to n minus 1, where I can access the array. Is it always 0 to n minus 1? We prefer it. But it's nothing like, just to tell you, if you want to create an array indexing based upon 1 to 10 or 2 to 10, whatever you want to do, you can do it. There's no hard and fast rule. But as a convention, we prefer 0 to n minus 1 because in programming, we start counting from 0. That's the only reason. But if somebody says, if I write this loop, I less than 10, I plus plus, and I'm taking the input here, is it incorrect? No, it is not incorrect. Even you can take it negative values also. I can say minus 1. You can do it from whatever you want to do. Minus 10 and I minus minus. That is also correct. But remember, whatever indexing you are putting it, same index you should use to access it. Other conventions can become difficult. Sometimes we go for 1 based indexing, but by default it is 0 based indexing. Okay, by default it is 0 based indexing. But there is no hard and fast rule that you have to follow it. We count programming is start from 0. That is why we say start with counting. Okay, cool. Then we also discussed a of 0 will be 1, a of 1 will be 2, a of 4 will be 5. Similarly, finally, if I try to access a of 5, this will give me an error that index is out of bound because you are trying to access something which does not exist. A of minus 1, it will give index out of bound. Okay. Then second part that we have parked for later, we pick that up, but this contiguous versus continuous location. What does continuous location means? Continuous location means all the values in the array, they will be stored in a continuous location. There is no space between the elements. The moment one ends, immediately after it, 2 will start. The moment 2 ends, immediately after it, 3 will start. There is no space that 1 end and 2 will start after it. So there is no space like that in the memory. That is why they are called continuous. That gives me an advantage that if I have to find the address of a particular index, I can do it. If I know the base address and if I know the address and if I know the index of a particular element, I can find its address as well because values are contiguous. If values were not contiguous, this formula will become invalid because you will not be able to tell how much difference it is. It's always discontiguous, right? So you will never be able to tell the address. Okay, then we started with questions. So that was about theory of array, and that is sufficient enough for solving questions at the moment. Okay, then we start solving questions. First question we solved was printing or traversal all the values in the array. We saw multiple methods how we can do it. So basically 2 methods. Either you can iterate over the indexes or you can iterate over the values, right? So if you're iterating over the indexes will go from 0 till n minus 1. So I less than n, this will go till n minus 1. So don't worry guys, don't put like this. I have seen some people, they write like this, not required. This loop will by default will remain n minus 1 because I less than n. It is not I less than equal to n. Okay. So you can iterate over indexes and you can print array of 5. Or other method is instead of iterating over indexes, you can directly iterate over values. So iterating over values, you can do integer element in array. Now you are not iterating over index, you're iterating over values. You're directly printing the values. Time complexity, same in both case, big of n. Space complexity, same in both case, big of 5. Which one is faster? Which one is worst? Both are same. Don't be confused by it, that if I iterate indexes, that will be faster. If I iterate over values, no, nothing like that. Understand, either you iterate over index or you iterate over values. Indexing is main advantage of arrays. Is indexing main advantage of arrays? Saying that is kind of correct, but the main advantage of arrays, it brings the homogeneous structures into one part. That is the main advantage. Indexing is an added advantage or on the top advantage because you are able to access it. Okay. Technically, indexing will become disadvantage later. Whenever you introduce linked list, there you will understand why indexing is a disadvantage. But yeah, the whole purpose of array or the whole use case of array is you can bring all the list of homogeneous values into one particular structure and call that as array. That's the biggest advantage. Okay, cool. Accessing elements by index, yes, that definitely big of one time. So you can treat it as an index. But again, it comes with a pro, it comes with a con as well. There's a con as well for indexing. Okay. Time complexity big of n, space complexity big of one. Then we discuss about this. Yeah, space complexity, somebody asked why it is constant. So I told them whenever you have limited number of values, whatever space it is taking, if it is a constant space, you will call big of one. There's nothing called big of two, big of three, big of four, big of eight. No, we don't write like that. When I will come to time and space complexity, which will be starting in next class, so that I will explain in detail. But just to be clear, when you say big of one, that means constant. That constant can be anything: 0 byte, 1 byte, 1000 byte, 2000 byte, millions of byte. If it is constant, we call it big of one. There is nothing called big of 100. We are not representing bytes in big O notation. Big O is used to determine the asymptotic complexity. It is not the number of exact bytes. We'll come to that when we discuss time and space complexity. Okay, first part. Second part, if I take this array that I'm creating inside the function, now this is an array of size n. So how much of memory it will occupy? It will occupy n into 4 bytes. Because one integer take 4 bytes, so n values will take n into 4 bytes. Now I cannot call this as a constant because it is dependent upon n. That's why the space complexity is big of n. Okay. Next question we did was sum of all elements in the array. So we did the sum part. Okay. There I told you a CP trick. There's a difference between sum equal to sum plus AI and sum plus equal to AI. This one is faster because it is not creating a copy. Here it is creating a copy every time. So n number of times you're creating a copy. One copy takes one constant space, but you're creating n number of times. So big of n time. Okay. Here you are not creating any copy. So this should be fine. That was the first part. Second part is whenever you're taking sum, whenever you're taking product, always prefer to keep a long or long, depending upon range of values you're keeping. Because guys, integer has a limit, minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion. Basically, minus 2 raised to the power 32, 2 raised to the power 32 minus 1. That formula I told in the first class, how to calculate. Some people don't like to remember the range, so for that formula is super helpful. You don't need to remember any range anytime. You can simply use the formula. Okay. If anybody has not seen it, please go through the notes or please go through the recording. Formula will be super useful. Any data type, character, long, float, double, integer, short, whatever. You can simply put the value in the formula. You can calculate the range. Coming back. So remember this because sometimes this will give you WA or WA means garbage value because you are overflowing the values. So this is a good thing. One more thing. Yeah, that's part we have discussed, which is CP trick. Cool. I told you one more thing is that whenever you're taking sum or product, always and always think about overflow. There are two ways to overcome overflow. Either you can compromise on space, so you can say long or long, or there's modulus. So I'll come to modulus operator and we'll discuss that, but there are two ways. Just one I'm telling you at the hint. Okay. Why I'm compromising? CP abbreviation, competitive programming. CP is competitive programming. Okay, and DP is dynamic programming. So P is common, just competitive versus dynamic. Anyhow, so in this case, I was telling you is that why we are compromising on space. One integer take 4 bytes in the memory. One long take how many bytes? One long take how many bytes? Okay. Now you guys tell me, if I write this function is taking how many bytes? This function is taking 4 bytes, correct? If I change it to long, now it will take 8 bytes. Agree? Agree? So I have doubled the memory. Same question I'm solving, but I have doubled the memory. Is it a good developer approach? Same question you are solving, you have doubled the memory. Simply put, initially your code was taking 100 MB, now it is taking 200 MB. Will you call yourself a good developer if you have compromised on the space? Answer is no. So there are ways around it, there are workarounds around it, but just I'm telling you. And sometime if I'm using long, anybody knows the size of long? How much long occupies in bytes? Yeah, long is a type. Long is a type. Long int is a type. All of them are type. No, not 30, not 6, not 32. Guys, long takes, no, not 64. Don't multiply the numbers. That's not how it works. So, okay. Long takes 16 bytes. Long, in which programming language? Long. C++. Just Google it. C++, there will be long. So long is 16 bytes. Long int is 10 bytes. Okay, just to tell it. In Java also there is long. Okay. The whole idea I'm telling you is when the values are very large, which cannot even accommodate in the value of long, there you go for long or long int because you need very high ranges in that. In that case, the memory will become much more higher. So 4 to 8 is just 100% increase. 4 to 10 is 250% increase. 4 to 16 is 400% increase. So you are saying I will occupy 4 times more memory just to pass the sim test cases. That's not a good developer idea, right? Your code was running in 100 MB, now it will run in 400 MB. That's definitely not a good idea. Okay. For that, we have workarounds. We have modulus operator, but when we go to modulus operator, then we'll discuss more in detail. But just to tell you about brief right now. Then we finally move to one question. Yeah, this is the question that we were discussing in the last, and let's run there as well. So I have delete code open, we'll run that. But let's go to the question. The question was find max element, min element. So I combined both questions in one part. So you have to find maximum and min element, if possible, in a single pass. Okay. So given some array, so you have to find which is the maximum value, which is 56, which is the minimum value, which is -2. Okay. And this is a function you need to complete. So we discussed multiple approaches on it. First was the brute force. In brute force, you can sort the array. So if you sort the array will become this. Now, minimum value, obviously in a sorted array, minimum value is the first value and maximum value is the last value. So array of 0 will be minimum value and array of n-1 will be the maximum value. But the disadvantage is if you are sorting, it is taking n log n time. Space complexity big of 1 because you are not taking any extra space. So that can be one brute force way to solve it. Second way could be I can pass it in two pass. So what I can do is I can create I can create first loop for finding the maximum value and second loop for finding the minimum value. The logic of maximum minimum will be same. What do you call maximum? When it is greater than all other values. What do you call minimum? When it is smaller than all other values. That logic will remain same. Okay. One more thing, guys. I see some of people have initialized it to 0. Again, they are running the loop from 0. Not required. You're repeating things. So there's a principle called DRY. Don't repeat yourself. In when you go to design part, like for senior developers in LLD, it comes. So don't avoid that principle because these solid principles are created to make you a better developer. So if you have already initialized with 0, there is no point in running the loop from 0 itself. Okay. So run the loop from 1 there. That's one part. So we can find in two parts. I'm running the loop 2 times. So big of n plus big of n, that will be the time complexity. Space complexity big of 1. Okay. Now, if you observe something, this loop and this loop, they are exactly same. So why to create two different loops? Why not merge them into a single loop? You can do that also. So I can merge them into a single loop. You can find the max, you can find the min, and you can print the max and min. These are the two ways. These are the three ways to solve maximum and minimum element in an array. Okay. Time complexity big of n, space complexity big of 1. Also, similarly, you can do using STL also. So there's a function max element, there's a function called min element, which will give you in just one pass. So this is big of n, just to be clear. This is also big of n. Guys, whenever you're using STL, first of all, I will not recommend using STL, but if the question is very large and you have to save time, so discuss with interviewer, can I use STL? Most probably interviewer will allow. So first always discuss with interviewer. But when you're using STL, please read about the things before jumping into the solution. I have seen people, they say max element works in big of 1. Use some common sense, guys. You are asking to find the maximum element in big of 1. Can you find the maximum element in big of 1? If I ask you, tell me the maximum element in big of 1. Can you tell me in big of 1? Even if you don't know the answer, majority of the things you can guess by common sense, right? Only if array is sorted. Okay. If array is sorted, then complexity of sorted will come into picture. Big of n log n. So that's never going to be big of 1, right? Think it this way. 1, 5, 3, 4, 2. If you're given an array 1, 5, 3, 4, 2, and if I ask you the maximum value, all of you will say 5. But can you tell me that 5 without going through all values? Can you tell me that? No, you can never. What if I tell you this value is hidden? Can you 100% sure that 5 will be maximum? If this value is hidden and it turns out to be 1000, your guess estimate will fail, right? Your guess estimate will be incorrect. So be clear about it. When you are saying max element, min element, at least with the common sense, you can understand if you have to find maximum, you have to go through all values. Going through all values, big of n time. Going through one value is big of O, okay, in case of arrays. Similarly, for minimum element, it will be big of n. So don't say in interview, it's big of 1. I've seen people saying because they read STL, but they don't go through about it. So whenever you're using STL, first of all, try to avoid it. But in case the question is very big where you have to save time, so yeah, definitely go for STL. But when you're using STL, please be very clear about their complexity. Okay, that part, max element, min element. Time complexity, big of n plus big of n, because this is 2 pass. So our best solution is what? Our best solution is this, 1 pass. Let's mark it as best solution. Okay, O(n) time, O(n) space. That is what we have seen till last class, and this is the thing that we have for today's class. And before starting today's class, guys, let's just copy paste and run this on lead code so we can feel more confident. So I'll just come to lead code and I'll change the language. What this array plus n means, I'll tell you. So just include some files. It's stdc++.h and using namespace std. What does array plus n means? Array plus n means, just to tell you, you will see the similar context in sorting also, a comma a plus a comma a plus n. This a plus n, it means is your, just let me write it here. Yeah, when you write this sort a comma or array comma a plus n, this a plus n is telling you till where you want to sort or till where you want to find the maximum. This is just an iterator which is providing you the range. Okay, so think it this way, your array is something, right? And the range goes from 0 till n minus 1. So this is the upper range you are telling. Till that index I want to move forward. This is called iterator. So when you write a plus 2, so this will take 0, 1 index, 0 and 1 index only. When you write a plus 4, it will take 0, 1, 2, 3 index. Okay, that's what a plus n means. So I minimize it. And inside the main function, I can just make a call. And before making a call, let's create an array. Then we'll make a call. So max and min element. I'll make a call here. For before that, let's create an integer. So you guys give me any value, whichever value you want to test with. Accordingly, we can call this. Integer array. Create any value. Let's put some negative values also. Can the two-pointer approach here give complexity of log n, as we are only traversing till half of the array size? How? Okay, let me get it this way. If you're traveling half of the array, how can you tell maximum and minimum? Simple question. Can you tell me maximum minimum by traveling half of the array? You can never, right? Two-pointer, guys, there's a big confusion. Two-pointer is not big of log n. Please don't. I'm not sure who has told you, but two-pointer is never big of log n. Big of log n, first of all, we'll come to binary search, there will understand why it is big of log n in the first place. Big of log n is, and okay, just to be clear about one thing. If you are saying integer array 10 and I iterate, I write a loop like this, I equal to 0, I less than n by 2, whatever n is there, I plus plus array of n. So you're calling this particular thing as big of log n. You think it is big of log n? Guys, that's a question. No, this is not big of log n. This is big of n by 2. Understand, big of log n and big of n by 2 are completely different things. These are completely different things. I believe everybody knows about log, right? E raised to the power x. What does log mean? So that is not the definition of log. Even if you're traveling half of the array, then also it is not big of log. Two things. Two-pointer is not traveling half of the array. Two-pointer, yes, in mathematically we write big of n by 2 as big of n, big of 2 into n also as big of n. Mathematically we write that. So two things I want to clarify here itself only. First part, when you're traveling half of the array, that is not big of log n, that is big of n by 2. Very first part. Okay. Second part, two pointer is not traveling half of the array. Two pointer is traveling the complete array. Two pointer is big of n always. Two pointer is never big of n by 2. Two pointer is never because big of log n. Why I'm saying let's discuss log n in binary search. Log n, what does log n means? Log n means if you are given two choices, you are making one choice every time. It means you are skipping a choice every time. That will be, okay, let me connect the charger, guys. Give me 1 second. Yeah, two pointer means, sorry, big of log n means you are given two choices and every moment you are making a choice of choosing one value, you are ignoring the second value. That's when you say big of log n. And I believe all of you know the value of log. When you say log, let's go with any base 100. Log base 2, 8, you know the value will be 3. The meaning of log is this. Just copy this, paste it here. X, make it A, it make it B. Okay. It means x raised to the power b has to be a. That is the meaning of log. I hope everybody knows that, right? Log base to 8 will be 3. So whatever base you have, x raised to the power b has to be a. That is simple mathematics. Log part everybody knows, right? You must have read in class 11, 12, or whenever it was introduced to you. That has nothing to do with n by 2. So 8 by 2 is 4 and I'm getting log value as 3. So they are never the same. That's the first part mathematically. Second part, two pointer is not n by 2, two pointer is big of n. You are traveling the complete array. Just because you have two values pointed, that doesn't make it n by 2. That doesn't make it n by 2. Okay, cool. Now let's, yeah, this part is not required. I'm moving here. What I was doing is, yeah, I was getting the value. So -2, 1, 10, 15, let's get -4. This is the array I've created, and don't hard code the things, guys. Always make it generic or always make it dynamic to be precise. So keep it as size of array divided by size of array of 0. That will give you the size of the array. And then you can do what? Maximum element, you can just call, you can pass array and n, array comma n. Since this is a word, I don't need to call C out here. Let's run this code and see the output. And yeah, that's pretty much sufficient. I should include bits std. Okay, I miss S, I believe. Yeah, I will write. Just 1 second. Let me run the code. 15 and -4. Is 15 -4 correct? Is 15 the max element? Correct. Is -4 the main element? That is correct. Can you explain line 25? Sure. Let me explain line 25. Guys, how do you determine the size of the array? So there are many ways. I'm not saying that's the only way. There are many ways. Okay. Either you can say n equal to array dot length. That you do in Java. That you do in Java. Array dot length. Okay. Or you can say, what is this part is doing? This is telling you what is size of array. You're dividing by size of array of 0 or array of 1. Anything is fine. So what will be the size of this total array? That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 into 4, 20 bytes. Agree? 20 bytes will be the size of this array. Okay. What is size of one array? What is size of array of 0? Array of 0 is this. That will be 4. So 20 by 4, it will give you 5. So what this line is doing is, this line is telling you, whatever is size of array, you divide with any element. You take it array 0, take it array 1, array 2, doesn't matter. Any value you divide, it will give you the size of the array. This will tell you number of elements in array. Number of elements in array. Okay. That's how we used to do earlier, but now we have vectors, so we can directly put v dot size. That becomes very easy to code. This is introduction classes of the array or introduction to the array, so that's why we're using this way. Next time we'll always code with the vectors because vectors are super easy. Same goes with Java as well. Array list are super easy. Okay, guys. So I was telling about this. So our code is working fine, as you can see. Maximum value I'm printing, so that is 15. Minimum value I'm printing, that is -4. Our code is working properly fine. Everybody clear? Just let me know so we can start with today's class and take on few more questions. This we have seen, this is working fine. Now let's start with today's class. We have few things on the table and we have pretty good questions on the table. Let's start with that. Okay, let's start with very first questions on the screen. We'll follow the same format. Okay, looks like I was teaching graphs last night. Anyhow, why this part is not deleted? Anyhow, so coming back here, what we are going to do is we are going to follow the same pattern. I will tell you the question, I will tell you the sample input output, then we'll take you 30 seconds and we'll follow the similar approach. The question here is this: find two max element. Honestly, two max element. You can actually print both maximum. Find two maximum elements in a single pass, preferably in a single pass. What I want is, I want this. You're given an array. Let's name this array values as this: 10, 12, 24. Agree? That is the array. Can you guys tell me what is the first max? What is the first maximum value here? Correct. First maximum value is 20. Can you tell me what is the second maximum value here? Second maximum value is 12. That is our question. You're given an array. All you have to do is you have to tell me what are the two maximum elements, if possible, in single pass. If possible, in single pass. We'll try to solve in single pass, but even if you have brute force or any other approach, we can have discussions around it. Okay. That is your question. You are given an array. All you have to do is, instead of finding, until now what we have done, we have find the maximum, we have find the minimum, we are able to do it in single pass. Now, instead of finding maximum minimum, I want you to find maximum first, maximum second in a single pass. That being said, guys, there can be an edge case. What can be that edge case? You tell me. Before writing the code, follow a TDD environment, test-driven development. Think what can be the edge case here. So I'm just writing here. I will not tell you the edge case. You guys tell me the edge case. What can be the edge case in this question? And what you're expected to? What is edge case? Good question. What is edge case? Edge case is something, guys. Now I'll come to that. I'll come to that. Edge case is something, guys, where your two equal value. Okay. There can be many edge cases. So let's define the edge case first, guys. Edge case is something, the code that you are writing will work for few of the cases, but some cases are there for that it will not work. Those are called edge cases. Okay. So you write a code, but you forgot one condition. For example, just a simple example. You write a code on array. Okay, whatever you're traversing the array. But somebody passed an empty array. Now your code is not working on empty array because you did not handle that case. So you have to put if n equal to 0, and then you have to do something like return or something like this, whatever, right? There can be many edge cases. Similarly, you're working on positive values, somebody sent negative values. Now what will you do? Those are called the edge cases. So few cases where your test case is possibly like to break. So that is called edge cases. And these edge cases eventually turns into bugs in production. Cool, guys. What you are expected to do is just this: void find 2max integer array integer n. This is the function you have to complete. I believe you're clear with the question. You're clear with the simple input output. Okay. 30 seconds on the clock. I want all of you to complete this function. Again, please change your message directly to me so you don't get disturbed and other people don't get disturbed by you. When you're writing the function, please do mention time and space complexity. Okay. This is actually a really good question. There are multiple reasons, right? First reason is what kind of edge cases you mention that determines your problem solving skills. First part. Second part, this question can be extended into find 3 max element, right? This question can be further expanded into find 3 max elements. First, let's talk about edge case. As I always say, please follow in test-driven development approach. That will eventually help you to become a good developer. What can be the possible edge cases with this question? Possible edge cases can be number 1. First, if array size is less than 2. In that case, if array size is less than 2, that is not a valid question, right? Because either I can find the first max or I can find the second max. That not become a valid question. If it is array size less than 2, there also you can divide into 2 cases. First, if size is 1, maximum, first maximum will be equal to second maximum. First maximum will be equal to second maximum, returning that. If size will be 0, then you will return -1 -1 or whatever you want to return there. Right. you will return something like this, or you can print something that is, since it is a void function, so you can print it is not allowed. Okay, that's first part on the edge case. Second part on that edge case can be, what if there are repeated values or duplicated values, basically repeated values. This test case I'm talking about, array is given as 1 2 3 4 5 5. Now what is the first max, what is the second max here? First max will be what? First max will be 5. What will be the second max? Second max will be 4 or second max will be 5. That is where people do mistake. Second max will be 5, guys. Why it will be 4? If they're repeated values, what is the question? Your question is to find the maximum value, right? If the repeated values, first value become maximum. If second value is same as first one, what can I do? I'm not counting the same value twice. I'm counting two different values, right? So first maximum will be 5, second maximum will also be 5. It will not be 4, just to be clear. Okay, so handle that edge case very carefully. If we have 3 5s, so first max, second max, 3 max, all of them will become 5. 3 5s, 10 5s, 1005 doesn't matter, right? Whatever first and second, they will become same. Similarly, there can be a case where I have all the values as 1 1 1 1 1. All values are same. So first max will be 1, second max will be 1. Okay, these were the two important edge cases. Anyhow, now moving forward, let's discuss multiple solutions and approaches that we have. Then we'll see which one is better, which one is worst. Our idea is to solve it in first pass, single pass. Single pass means big of n notation or big of n complexity. That means in one iteration only. Let's see if we can do it. First easy way could be, and I see some of you have written that, you can sort the array. You can sort the array, right? So when you sort the array, your first max will become array of n minus 1, and your second max will become array of n minus 2. Agree? In case I sort the array, my first maximum will become array of n minus 1, second maximum will become array of n minus 2. All agree? Okay. Will it handle the repeated value case? Edge case of repeated values or duplicated values, will it handle it? Yes, it will handle it. You can see this is already a sorted array. So first max will be 5, second max will be also 5. So this will handle it. Time complexity of sorting, big of n log n. Space complexity, big of 1. That's definitely not a good approach. N log n is very high complexity, so definitely no point in going with that. Okay. Second, if I cannot go for sorting, what I can do now? I can use two traversals. Okay. So in case of two traversal, what I can do? In first traversal, I can find the largest value, and second traversal, I can find the second largest value. Something like this. Copy this. And in two traversal, I can find the largest and second largest. Initialize both the values with array of 0. Just create an index and start traversing from there. Again, same thing, guys. If you're initializing it for 0, doesn't make any sense to initialize it to 0. That will be try. That will be against the try. For I equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay. If array of I is greater than my value, my first, then my first will become simple. Okay. That will give me the first maximum value in the array. If I have to find the second maximum value, I'll do the same. If array of I is not equal to first, in that case, what I'm gonna do is If array of I is greater than second, I'm going to put second equal to array of I. Now this approach is fine, but there's one problem with it. I'm putting if array of I is not equal to first, then only I'm putting in the second. Now you understand what's the problem with this approach is, yes, this will not handle the duplicated case. So I don't need to put this case. I'm going to do this as, okay. So I can handle both the cases. If array of I is greater than second, I will put second as whatever new array of I. Okay, just to tell about it. So in two iteration, first iteration I find the value, second iteration I find this value. Both will work. Okay. Next part, guys. Just to tell you, actually this will give you same answer because array of first and array of second, this will give you the same answer. So what you have to do is, and in order to explain that, let me take example. Yeah, 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and first will be 5 here, and second will be 4 here. Let's take that test case, then we'll go for that. Now understand one thing, guys. When you're starting from 0, when your array is non-duplicate, this will fill. I know. That's what I wanted to show you something. When you start from left to right, right? So left to right, you have initialized first with array of 0, you have initialized second with array of 1. What exactly is happening? Let's understand that each line by line. So your first is going to be 1. Your second is also going to be 1 because you have initialized with array of 0. Agree? Agree? Okay. Now we move forward. You realized 2 is greater than 1. So my first will become 1. Make sense? Then 3 is greater than 2. My first will become 2. Similarly, it will keep on continuing. 5 is greater than 4. My first will become 5. This is fine for the first loop. This is totally fine for the first loop. In the second loop, something needs to be modified. Because if I follow the same logic, it will tell me second is 5. Agree? If I follow the exact same logic, this will lead me to the same result, that second is 5. So there is some condition which I need to include in order to get the correct answer. What is that condition? Let's think about that. That condition should be, when I'm going for the second time or when I'm going for the second value, I just need to add one condition. The condition is here. That's it. Whenever you find array of I is greater than second and the second value is less than equal to first, so it will not override the first maximum value that I have got in the output. It will not override the first maximum value that I have got in the output. That will give me definitely the right answer. Got it? Simple. If you keep the same loop, it will give 5 for first, 5 for second. So this is a condition you need to be mindful. Why I have put less than equal to? Why I have not put less than? I have put less than equal to because for duplicated cases. If I just give less than, duplicate cases will not work. This part is clear to all. Just let me know. Okay. And now I can just print Cout. This is first max and or just put first here and just give a space and give a second here. Okay. Let's run this code and then we can see, can we further optimize it or not? Let's take it to lead code. Let's submit this and check it. Okay. Yeah, it should be fine here. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. Find to maximum array and n that I'm giving here. Okay. So this looks fine to me. Let's run the code. Let's check the output. 15 and 15. So what the value I'm passing? It is 15 and 15. 15 and 15. Second is less than equal to first. Let me delete this part. Again 15 and 15. Something is wrong. If array of I is greater than first, I equal to 1, I less than n. First becomes array of I. This is correct. If I equal to 1, I less than n. In that case, what I'm doing is largest value I'm putting at array of I. This is correct. Array of I is greater than second. No, line number 17, I'm checking only. If array of 5 is greater than second, we'll need to keep index of first and update the condition. And second is less than equal to first. No, that is fine. Equal to first was giving the incorrect answer, right? What I'm checking here is if array of 5 is greater than second, this part is correct. And second is greater than first. Okay, I got it. What is happening is you are changing only the second, but you're not changing the first part. So in that case, you need to handle for the first part as well, right? If your array of I is not equal to first and array of I is not equal to first, then only you modify second of array of I. Now, if I run the code, this will give me correct answer. That is what was happening here. Anyhow, this will work fine now, and less than equal to we work for duplicate. So let me tell you what was happening here. In first loop, you find the maximum value, that is correct, no doubt about it. In second loop, when you were trying to find the second maximum value, the problem was you are checking array of I is greater than second, correct? If it is greater than second, you have to update the second. But you need to make sure that value has to be less than the first. That value has to be less than the first also. Okay. In that case, what was happening is you are passing 15. So you pass 15, you got first as 15. If you don't include this condition, that will, yeah, I will come with duplicates. If you don't give this condition, that will be replaced with 15 as well. So this will give you correct result. In case of non-duplicates, if I run this code, it will give successful output 1510. But if I have to include duplicates, I have to give condition like this. Okay. Then I have to include duplicates. Let me give you a few duplicates as well. 15, 15, 15. Yeah, now it's work with duplicate as well. Second condition is always true if array of I is less than equal to first. Yes, that's the optimization we have to do, right? Second condition. But even if you don't have duplicates in the array, in the code, I didn't get the question. I mean, change the input array. Okay. Change the input array 15, 15. Okay. Now there are no duplicates. Yeah. If array of I is greater than second, and the condition, sorry. Okay. Now it's giving me the output as 15, 15. I have 15, 10 only. Need to keep index of first. No. Index is not required. What I'm doing is if array of I is greater than first, it should fill 10. I got it. I got the bug. If array of I is greater than second and array of I is less than equal to first, you are keeping. Okay. That we can wrap around under one single pass actually. Got the problem. That we can wrap around one single pass. So just copy this and move it here. I got the bug. Yeah. Coming this part and solving it in one single pass. Approach number 3, single pass. If you observe carefully, I'm iterating over the same array values. First, I'm keeping a count of first value and keeping the count of second value. This loop is same. I can easily make this answer in one pass of the loop. How I can do it? This is a if condition. This is another if condition. Why I cannot put it in the if else? So if I do this, I delete this part. I'll come here. I'll put a if. I'll put a else. And I'll come here. Okay. What I'm going to do is I've initialized first with something. I've initialized second with something. Now what I'm going to start with, I equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. If array of I is greater than first, you define first value as array of I. Now, when you go to the second value, you have to modify the second value. If array of I is greater than second and array of I is not equal to first, you're defining second as array of I. Then you print first and second. This will work. This will not work with duplicates, but this will work for all the test cases because if the given input is sorted, else won't execute, right? I didn't get it. If the given is sorted, yeah, then it will go to the if part only, right? If array of I is greater than first, in that case, you need to modify both the values. First will become array of I and second will become first. This will come here. Copy this, paste it here. Now it will work fine. So if your array of I is greater than first you will change the previous first value will become the second value. Now the new first value will become array of I. That is totally correct. Net in else if condition, if array of I is greater than second and array of I is not equal to first, in that case, what you're going to do is second will become array of I. This will work. And I will correct with the duplicates also. I got the bug. It's an interesting bug. Okay. Coming here, moving this. Now, if I test with this, it will give correct output 1510. Okay. And I just keep this, then also 1510. So it's working fine with the non-duplicates. Even if I give it duplicates, then also it will work fine. 1515. Okay. Both the cases working. It's an interesting bug. Let me show you what I've done. First of all, everybody can see, right? With duplicates and both non-duplicates, it's working fine. Or let me do it this way. Copy it here, paste it here, name it as array2, give it as n2, and just call this. Yeah, this is much better. And first one is with the duplicate, first one is without duplicate, second one is duplicate, run the code. It will work for both cases. And let me give AND also. -2, 1, 10, 15, 15. Array 2 I have to pass, not array 1. Yeah, cool. Both cases it's work. 1 second. 15, 15 byte is not working. Array 2 I have passed, N2 I have passed. That is correct. It should have given 15, 15, -2, 1, 10. Okay, my bad. This is array 2. This is array 2. Now it is correct. Cool. It's working fine for the both test cases. Yeah, I've seen it. Cool, guys. First of all, you first see that it's working for all test cases. Whatever test case you want to introduce, it will work. What I've done is, or what the interesting bug was, let me show you that. So just copy this. Okay, cool, guys. The bug is here. When you find any value, if in condition we had greater than equal to instead of else if. Greater than equal to instead of else if. We'll discuss that. First, let me try run this, then we'll discuss that. Okay. What is happening inside is, same example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The moment you find any value greater than it, you have to do two things. You just need to modify the first value. You also need to modify the second value. Understand what I'm saying? Here, your first is 1, your second is 1. Agree? Initially, your first is 1, your second is 1. Now, when you go to write, your first becomes 2. Your first becomes 2. Your second should also be updated at that point, because when you moved updated the first one, second should be also updated. So whatever the previous first was there, that will become the second value. What I'm saying is, suppose you have 3, 4, 5. So your first value was 4 and second value was 3. Now, when you change the first to 5, your second should also be changed to 4. You're getting it, right? This is first, this is second. Now, when you're saying my first becomes 5, sorry, this is second and this is first. Now, when you're saying my first become 5, you should also change the second to 4. That is what I'm doing in this code. When your first becomes 2, second should also become 1. Next part, your first becomes 3. If you don't modify the second, it will give incorrect result. That's exactly what we were doing last time. Now your second will become 2. So this is what I'm doing. Whenever you find any value which is greater than my first, which is greater than my maximum, then my maximum will become array of I. That is correct. But before that, your second should be become to first. If you write this line after this, it will give incorrect result. So before changing the first, you need to give the value of the first maximum to the second and then get updated new maximum. Old maximum becomes second maximum, new maximum. I think now the comments are clear. Your old maximum will become the second maximum, and this is your new maximum. I'll come to that. Do we need else if condition? Else if array of I is greater than second and array of I is not equal to first. Do you need else if condition? Let me think of an edge case where you are updating the first part and you got the second. No. There can be one case where you need it. If your array is in between first and second, can there be a case where your array of I is between first and second? Then you need the else if condition. No, think about it. In a case where array of I is an element between second is greater than this and it is greater than first. In case there's a value between first and second, then you will need this else if condition. So since you're iterating over all the values from 1 till n, since you're iterating with all the values in 1 till n, that case will not be required. But one case could be if array of I is greater than equal to first, then you will say second will become first, array of I will become second. So that will handle this. Yes, correct. That is not required then. You can remove the else if part then. Because else if part is required only on the case where array of I is between this part, second and first, somewhere between second and first. But if you're covering all the parts, then this else is not required. Okay, then you can solve it. But if you're solving for maximum of 3 values, then definitely it will be required. This question can be further extended to first 3 maximum values, then else if will come into the picture. But if for first 2 maximum value, this will not come into the picture. Anyhow, so let's just see this and try to do it. Yeah, I'll give all the test cases, don't worry. And coming to lead code. And paste it here. Now if I run it, 1510, 1515, it's working fine. Okay. Can you check the output for this? 2, 13, 15. Okay, let me just replace this. 2, 13, 15, 17, 18, 18, 19. One second. Copy this, paste it here. This is the array that I've got. Also tell me the output as well. Whatever will be the output, so I will change it accordingly. This is N3. This is 3. This is 3. This is 3. This is 3. Okay. In that case, it gave you the output as 19. 19, I think it is correct because 19 is duplicated twice. So first maximum is 19, second maximum is also 19. Yeah, that is giving correct output. Can you do this test case for 4, 1? 4, 1, let's also check. Instead of writing like this, I should write a function for all test cases and return Boolean there. I'll show you how to do that as well. I usually do that format. It's very helpful. Array 4, 4, and 4. 4, 4, it's working incorrect. For decreasing test case, it gives 4, 4. Okay, let's check. I equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. What you're saying is if 4, 1 you have given, if array of I is greater than first, then it will be given. Okay, I got the problem. Since you're initializing both the values with 0, that I can definitely work around. Instead of initializing this, initialize with this -1 or any negative value. Integer min. Initialize second with integer min. comma, second equal to integer min. Okay. Then you start iteration from 0. I'll tell you what is integer min. Let me first check this. 4 and minus values minus and 482. If array of I is greater than equal to first, that is correct. First, second, I both initialize with integer min. Integer min is it comparing with array of I is greater than equal to first. Okay. Do we actually need that? Minus n till array of I greater than equal to first. Second equal to first, first equal to array I. This is the case where else if was required. This is actually the case where else if was required. Anyhow. Yeah, that's why I was saying else if there can be one condition where else if can be required. Just come here. Else if. Let me make changes here itself. Yeah, copy this and paste it here. Array of I is greater than second, array of I is not equal to first. I will remove the duplicate part from here. I'll come 4, 1. Yeah, now it is working fine. That's why I was telling you there can be one case. Who pointed out the test case? That is good. Rutvij has pointed out. Good. Else it is required. No. Else it is not required for 2 values. Else it is required. That's a good edge case. Handle cases out of loop. We'll discuss all that in detail. Let me think few more edge cases where if value is less than equal to second. So this edge case, let me write why it is required, where your array of I is actually second less than first. That is where this edge case is required. So one edge case is a decreasing values. Okay. Let's take one more edge case where all values are same. Last edge case I will take where all values are same. Although this code will work fine. One more thing I need to change. 1, 1, change it to array 5, array 5, array 5, array 5. This will work fine. I expected that if array of I is not equal to first, array I is greater than second, and array of I is not equal to first, second you are giving us array of 1. It's not passing third test case. That is fine, we'll check for that. What I'm saying for is another test case. In the case where I have this is less than equal to first, then I run this code. Yeah, now it is passing all test cases. That's what I was doing. Another case could be one edge case that we have not handled. I will make this production ready, don't worry. I'll make this code complete production ready. And one edge case that you should handle is if your n is less than 2, you should say out and you should return from there itself. Return from here and you should say invalid input. Okay, it will work for all test cases. You can submit anywhere you want. It is not passing third, it will pass on. Can you run it again? Yeah, just run it. Don't worry guys, let me just copy paste, go to Sublime and explain everything. Yeah, moving this code. This is the final code that we have. Empty. Yeah, empty string, it will give invalid output. Invalid input it will give, right? And will be less than 2. Okay, now just tell you what we have done here. This part is correct. This part is totally correct. Whenever new value is coming, which is greater than your current maximum value, you have to update both the value. First value, that will be the new value, and second value, which was the previous maximum, that should be given to the second maximum. This part is correct. Why this part is required is in the condition if your array of I is somewhere between first and second. Now remember guys, you're initializing your array of I, you're initializing your first and second with integer min. Somebody asked what is integer min? Let me tell that. Integer min is a negative, largest negative value which you can consider. Largest negative value, or basically -2 billion, right? Largest negative value of integer. Technically, smallest negative value of integer, because in negative values, it's opposite way. Yeah, it is specific to this. Similarly, in Java is also there. Int dot max, int dot min, same as in Java. Okay. Integer max is largest positive value. Okay. Why we use this int min or int max is that if I have to find any maximum thing, or if I have to find against any value greater than it, so what I will say is I will initialize some value to negative, most negative, right? So any value will be greater than it. What I'm saying is, if I give -1 and I'm comparing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, okay, what I'm saying is, if I have to compare the maximum value and I'm saying max equal to max of array of I and -1, I 100% know next time whenever I'll be selecting the value, this value will always be maximum when I have greater number. Agree? If I have only positive numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that will always be greater than this -1. Agree? Okay, that is the idea whenever I have to find maximum number. So I initialize it to something very negative or something very small, and I find the maximum value. Similarly, when I have to find the minimum value, what I will do is I'll compare it to the very large value. So I'll make it min. I will compare it with a very large value. So min and a billion or trillion, whatever you want to keep here, right? So this value will always be less than this very large value. That is why we use max and min. But anyhow, the interesting bug about this was first is the edge case. If it is less than 2, yeah, I'm sharing. If n is less than 2, then you say invalid input. Now coming to this part. This part, if part is everybody correct, right? If array of I is greater than first, then you are saying I have to update both the values. First maximum will become the array of I, the new maximum, and the second one will become the previous old maximum. So second equal to first equal to array of I. This is correct. Why this else if is required is for the condition when you have second less than array of I less than first. This condition is this. Just copy this. This condition is this. That is else if in decreasing array. Okay, decreasing array in the sense your first is pointing to some integer min. Just copy this. Your second is pointing to integer min. Okay, now when you run 4, 1 here, what will happen is 4, it will come like 1 at 4, it will come is greater than first, correct? So second will be initialized to first. So second will be initialized to first, second will be integer min, and first will become array of I. So first will become 4. Or let me just try run this on 4, 1. When you try run this on 4, 1, what will happen is 4 is greater than integer min, which is correct. So what will happen? Second will become first. So second will become integer min. Okay. And first will become array of I. So first will become what? First will become 4. First iteration. Second part, you are not using any else. If you are not using any else, what will happen? Second will remain integer min, first will become 4. So it will give you an output. If you guys remember, it gave you an output like this, 4 and some negative value, very large negative value. That is where this test case will fail. If you are not checking that your second should not be equal to integer min, that is the test case where it will fail. Got it? This is the test case where it will fail. Okay. If you are giving just 4, 1, if you're just checking for the first part, you are not updating the second part. You should update the second part with something. If you're not updating the second part, then this test case will fail. This code that I've written here, you can submit anywhere. This will pass all test cases. This will pass all test cases. Because we've handled the if part and we've handled this part in else also. Okay, then we are printing first and second. Cool guys, negative values, double cases, duplicate cases, all test case it will pass. Let me show again on lead code. You have any more test case, please feel free to share and I can show you. It will work with that also. These are the 5 test cases we have. All test cases are working fine. Why are it going else for if? Good question. See, what is happening in for if? You check 4 is greater than first, correct. Why it is going for else if in case of for if? Okay. Second is initialized to integer min, which is minus 2 billion or very negative values. Array of I is greater than first. 4 is greater than integer min. So first part it will go. Second value 1, it will not go to the if part because second value is not greater than first. Only for increasing array, it was going to the if part. But the next value is smaller than the current value, then it will not go to the if part. It has to go to the else part. In the else part, if there is no else part, it will give an correct answer. In else part, if you will handle that 1 is greater than that negative value, then it will give you correct output. Okay. Def 2 max element array 0, 0. If I get then equal to max, this, max 2. Need to verify with this test cases. Let me just check. Copy this, paste it here. Okay. Let me verify with few test cases. Print array. Let me take the test cases from here. (1510), this is correct. If I give 15, that is correct. Let me test with 4,1. That is correct. And 1,1. That is also correct. So you defined with initial 0, max 0. If I is going array 1 till n, you're going from 1 to l. You're updating the first max, you're updating the second max. Else, same thing. Same thing. You're comparing else if it is greater than this. Same piece of code. In the if part, you're updating both first and second. In the else part, you're comparing this input 1, 0. Okay. Can we run for -1, -1? Sure. Oh, sorry, -1 and 1. It's working fine. Same logic is there, right? In the if case, you are already checking is greater than equal to max. In that case, you are updating it here. And in the else case, you're updating the second part. That's what I was saying. Last part, if you avoid the else part, then it will give you incorrect answer. We should set the values to be initialized to maintain. Yes, for safety, that's definitely recommended. In case you're finding the maximum value, always initialize to integer min. In case you're going for minimum value, initialize with max, integer max. Okay, yeah, this is same code, a little bit optimized because we have handled the equal to condition here only. So you don't need to put in else part, same code. Cool. But yeah, one thing you need to add is what if it is only one part? Then it will be giving you 0. It should give minimal output. So one if condition you can add here. In Python, we can return multiple values. Yes, you can return multiple values. Python is interpreted, right? So these are not compile time. So you can return 1 value, 2 value, 3 values, or the complete array. That will work fine. Okay. Cool, guys. Let's move to C++. Let's see the code. And I think this part is clear to all. Guys, I'm sharing the screen 1 second. Guys, everybody clear with this question? We have tested with all cases. Just let me know in the chat. It's good that you guys are following good test cases or coming up with good test cases. Time complexity of this code, big of, and space complexity of this code, big of 1. And that was the ultimate motive of this question. Instead of passing in 2 paths, we can solve it in single traversal also. Big of n, big of 1 space. One more thing, guys, I have done for 2 maximum values. I want you to do as a homework for 3 maximum values in a single pass. 3 maximum value in a single pass. Just to give you an hint, just think what will change here. Any change will happen here only. Forget about the handling conditions, think about the change here. If you have to modify this question or if you have to extend this question to find first 3 maximum values, something needs to be changed. logically think what will be changed. Okay. And try it as a homework. If in case you're not able to do, we'll discuss definitely in the next class. So I'm putting as a homework maximum 3 elements in single pass. Okay. Just remember for 2 elements, we need if and else if. For 3 elements, it will be if, else if, and there will be one else. Think of edge cases, you will get to know if, else if, and one else. Cool. That is what I'm giving as homework, maximum 3 elements in a single pass. Everybody clear, guys? So we can take on to next question. Cool. Next question we have on the list is, this is done, so I'm marking it as done. Next question we have is reverse of characters. And on that follow-up, there's a reverse vowels also. So let's do that part first. Reverse an array of characters. And when you say array, you can take pretty much anything. So you're given an array. You're given an array. It can be array of characters, it can be array of numbers, it can be array of anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C, D, whatever you want to call. Output should be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Simple. An array is given, all you have to do is you have to reverse the array. So reverse, and I'm saying void, and you're given an array, and you're given integer n. This is something you have to complete. Given an array, your task is to reverse the array. You will be given bonus point. You will be given bonus point if you can do it in space. In space means big of 1 without using any extra space. Question is clear to all, guys? Question is clear to all? Okay. Guys, this time not 30 seconds. Let's go for 20 seconds. Okay, this is a simple question, but there's one or two approach that I would like to discuss. That's all. 20 seconds on the clock. Feel free to write this code in whatever language you want. And along with writing the code, please mention time and space complexity. Don't forget the bonus part. Let's discuss the solution. First thing first, brute force way of solving this question is, if I have to reverse an array, what I can do is I can create extra array. I can create extra array. And all I can do is run in reverse and initialize values. That's all. That's all I have to do. Okay. So I create integer b of size n. And then I say for I equal to n minus 1, I is greater than equal to 0, I minus 1. All I have to do is b of n minus I have to give a of I. And then I will return b. That's all. That is one way of doing it, right? I can create one extra array, and based upon one extra array, I will be able to initialize the values there. And since I'm able to initialize the value there, I will be able to put the values there. Okay. N minus 1, n minus I greater than equal to 0, n minus 1. And this is fine. That is one way of doing it. The time complexity here, it will be big of n. Space complexity will be big of n because you are creating an extra array. Brute force part is clear to all. Simple brute force way can be, I can create extra array, I can reverse the value, and I can return the reverse array. Brute force part is clear. But can I reduce that space? Do I actually need that extra array? Do I actually need that extra array? And remember, guys, array is taking 4 into n bytes. So if n is 1000, it is going to take 4000 bytes in memory, which is 4 kilobytes, roughly 4 kilobytes. So 4 kilobytes memory, I can definitely save. How I can save it? In single pass or in space solution. What I can do is I can use 2 pointers here, right? And all I have to do is void, let me just copy paste this, void reverse this part. I can use 2 pointers, and based upon 2 pointers, I can just simply return the array. I'll create integer start that will point to array of 0, right? That can point to array of 0, then I can move array of end. So start equal to 0, integer end equal to n minus 1. All I have to do is I can write while start less than equal to end, create a temp variable. I think you guys know how to swap values, or you can directly write swap array of start, array of end. It's same thing. You can directly use swap function. It is available in SQL, but if you don't want to use swap function, that also have workaround. Yeah, one thing is missing. Array of start, array of find. This is same. Either you can use it this way or you can use it this way. Create a temp variable, integer temp equal to array of start equal to array of end, and then array of end is equal to 10. That's all. And after this, you keep on doing start plus plus, n minus minus. Same thing you can do with I equal to 0, I less than n by 2, I plus plus. Then also you can do the same thing. Ultimately, it's same thing. Okay. Time complexity here, if I talk about big of n, space complexity big of 1 because I'm not using any extra space here. Okay. On that note, guys, I believe everybody knows that there are two methods of swapping. You can swap using a temporary variable and you can swap without using a temporary variable. I hope everybody knows that. You can swap with using a temporary variable and you can also swap without using a temporary variable. There also have two methods. Either you can use plus minus or you can use multiplication division. If you're using multiplication division, be very careful with the case when other value is 0. Do you guys know it or should I cover it? Do you guys know it or should I cover it? Might as well take it. Okay, we'll take that part. If you use for loop, then should be n by 2. Yeah, that's same part. Okay, when you're saying length n by 2, this is actually also half. Start less than equal to end, you're increasing both end, start plus end. Technically, it is n by 2. N by 2. We call n by 2 as big of n. Same part. So either you write I equal to 0, I less than n by 2, I plus plus. Then you keep on replacing I and n minus I. Same thing. Okay, you're traveling till half of the loop and you're changing. Same goes with this two-pointer approach. I'll park this question, swap. I will mark this as to do. So I will have a note with 2 pointers without temp and multiplication. Two methods are there basically. You can use multiplication division, you can use addition, subtraction, mathematical operators. There's one more method which is modulus one, which majority of people don't know. Edge case when it is, yeah, that's what I was saying. XOR is also a case, but there's one more with modulus operator. Okay. We'll take this in to do, we'll discuss that. But just for coming back to this question, in case you have to reverse an array, guys, two methods we have discussed. Either you can create an auxiliary array, auxiliary means extra array, and then you can reverse the value of the first array, put in the second array. There you're creating extra array, that's why space complexity will be big of n. In space solution can be, without creating an extra array, I can simply traverse over the array and I can swap the values. So just to give an idea what is happening in this code, why there is 2 brackets. Okay, this is for while. What is happening in this code? It is happening this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 will be changed with 5. 2 will be changed with 4. 3 will remain as it is. So 3 times this loop will run. 3 iterations this loop will run. And will replace the values. So your final output will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This part is clear to all. This part is clear to all. Okay, cool. These are the two solutions. How do we do with for loop? Same thing. Okay. Do with for loop. All you have to do is just travel by n by 2 and replace the values. That's all you have to do. Same piece of code that you are writing. Where is that piece of code? Yeah. Copy this part specifically, and write it here. All you have to do is replace it as for I equal to 0, I less than n by 2, I plus plus. Either you swap this part or you can directly write array of I and array of n minus I minus 1. I n minus I minus 1. Same thing. Either you write like this or you write like that, ultimately same thing. Okay. Cool. Time complexity n by 2, which we call as big of n. One more thing, guys, I see one interesting solution from few of you people. Some of you are writing, let me tell you what you were writing. Some of you are writing this part. Void reverse integer array integer n. Some of you were simply saying run a loop in reverse and just print array of I. That is good for output. That is good for output. Whenever the question is that reverse the array, the interest or the motivation behind asking such question is that next, if I do operations on the array should be reversed. So please don't do this thing, guys. Yes, for as per the test case, if you want to pass, that is fine. But whenever an interviewer asks this question in a face-to-face interview, online context is something else because there nobody is checking your code. Most of the cases, they are not checking your code. But when it comes to face-to-face interview, when somebody says reverse an array, the idea is not to print the reverse output. The idea is to reverse the array. Understand the question. Question is reverse an array. Then question is not print the reverse output. You can work around it. You can create hacks around it. That is fine. But in interview, it's not a good idea. In interview, the motivation is how do you reverse the array? Reverse the array means if my array was this 1, 2, 3, next time my array should become 3, 2, 1. Okay. So if I do next operation, it should be performed on 3, 2, 1, not 1, 2, 3. So if you do this kind of thing, is your initial array changed? Is your initial array changed? No, your initial array is not changed. So that is not a good idea. So please avoid these kind of hacks and understand the intention of the question. Cool, guys. This is what we have done. So 2 approaches we have seen and it's working fine. Cool, guys. All clear with it? Just let me know in the chat. And we can see that in space solution also. Let me just run as well. Let's quickly go to lead code. Let's quickly run. We'll check the output. Just moving it from here, pasting it here. And let's create a simple loop where we'll be iterating the values. So for integer I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, see out your array of I. That part. Okay. And take any of this array, whatever works. Just delete this part and just call the function reverse. Okay, let's run the code. There is a or part. Okay, this is or. Let's remove this. Let's run this. 15, 10, minus 2, 1, which is working correct. And even before, the better solution could be, you can simply say after reverse. And you can say before reverse. That will be a super better solution. Before reverse, after reverse. And just give a handle here also. Okay, now this will work fine. Before reverse, it is minus 2, 1, 10, 15. And after reverse, you see this output. So this is a better solution. I think all of you guys are clear. So just to mention the time and space complexity, which should always mention in the code, this will be time complexity of big of n, space complexity of big of 1. In space solution, we have done. Okay, let me just copy and paste to your Sublime so you guys can take reference there. This is final code and this is here. All clear, guys? Just let me know. All clear? Both the approaches all clear, right? Cool. Let's move to the next question, which is an extension of this question. So I will not give 30 or 20 seconds. I'll give 15 seconds for that. Next question is this. Let's move this as done and create a space here. Reverse vowels in the word or in a string, basically. Let's quickly go to the next question. You are given a string. All you have to do is you have to reverse the vowels there. I hope everybody knows about vowels. So all you have to do is you have to reverse the vowels in a string. Word means string. And I think this question is on lead code as well. So let's solve on lead code. Let me check if this question is on lead code. I think it should be. So there is merge sorted array, there is fizz buzz, there is reverse. Yeah, reverse vowel is there. So cool. We'll solve it on lead code only. Okay. And then there will solve for fizz buzz. So new share, and I'll come to this. Then I should explain only on lead code. Why I'm explaining here, right? Cool. This is the question in front of you guys. As you can see, lead code question number 345. I'm also giving this question in the chat. So please feel free to go to that link and read the question there also. This is the question we are going to solve now. Reverse vowels of a string. You're given a string S, you have to reverse only all the vowels in the string and return it. Again, when the intention is to ask reverse, the intention is to make operations on it. So you have to return it. Okay. You're given a string S, or you have to reverse only the vowels in the string and then you have to return it. Vowels are already given A, E, I, O, U, and they can appear in both cases. Both cases means uppercase and lowercase. I hope that everybody knows, right? Both cases means uppercase and lowercase. Okay. So these vowels can come in both cases, upper and lower cases. You have to reverse only the vowels. Let's see the example. H-E-double-L-O. So what are the vowels here? E is a vowel, O is a vowel. Agree? Let me take a notation. E is a vowel here and O is a vowel here. All I have to do is I have to reverse this. So O will come before, E will come later. Similarly, if I see double E, O and E, it should be replaced with E, O and double E. This part, everybody clear? Just let me know in the chat. This part, everybody clear? Just let me know in the chat. Cool. This is your question, guys. And coming to the constraint analysis, what we are given in constraint analysis is it can go into 3 into 10 raised to the power 5. So big of n will pass. Big of n square will not pass. We'll come to that. How do I get to know it will pass, it will not pass? But just to tell you, this is the question at this moment. Everybody clear with the question? And what you have to complete is, this is the function you have to complete. Reverse vowel, it is taking a string as input, it is returning a string as output. This is the function you are expected to complete. Okay. You can code in any language of your choice and let me know. Constraint analysis is not clear. Don't worry, we'll discuss. When we go to the CP part, we'll discuss constraint analysis. Which actually, that's where CP is useful, right? Just by reading the question, you can tell us which complexity will pass. Then you can reverse engineer the things. You can tell which algorithm this question is using, and then you can figure out how to pass all test cases. These are logical ways. I mean, logical means legal ways. There are illegal ways also where you can hack the test cases. You can just simple write if else and you can pass all test cases. But I will not tell anything illegal, but many things can be done just to give you an idea. Let's not go there, guys. Let's discuss or come back on this question. So this question, what you have to do, we need to reverse first occurrence with second. First occurrence with second means? No, you have to reverse it. Okay, let me get it this. This is lead code, correct? What are the vowels if I bring out? Vowels will be E, E, O, E. Agree? Vowels will be double E, O, E. Agree? If I have to reverse this part, it will become O, E, double E. It will become EO. Agree? This, if I reverse, this will become this. Okay. Now, same position, you have to put it there. So copy this and paste it here. Whatever it was there, you just put it. So this will become EO and this will become EE. As you can see, that is the output. So all you have to do is you need to find the vowels and you have to reverse the vowels only. And your rest of the characters will not be reversed. Only the vowels will be reversed. This part is clear to all, guys. Do not take the question for something else. Understand the question first. Question is clear to all, guys. Question says reverse only the vowels. So bring out all the vowels, replace them, put them back in the same position they were in. Okay. Do not misinterpret the question. That will be the worst thing you will do in interview. So understand the question first. Any doubt, please feel free to ask before I give you time. Clear? Okay. Now, guys, you are free to directly code on lead code, or if you want to give in the chat, that is also fine. I will prefer give me the complete function so I can directly copy paste from your code. Whatever language you will tell me, I'll copy paste your code. We will see whether your code is passing all test cases or not. You guys, whatever language you want, just give me your code. You can see what I have given the link of the question already. Just complete this function and tell me your code. I will try to copy paste the same code and see if it is working or not working. So first, let me just comment this part. This is for our understanding. I'll comment this. I'll comment this. Yeah. Now deleting all the part. So one answer I've got, I'm just copy pasting. Okay. Yeah, this is one answer I've got, so I've just copy pasted it. Let's see if it will pass oral test case or not. Your code has bugs. Any empty character constant invalid PP token. The last answer that I've got in the chat that has bugs, please check the bug. It is giving me some compile time error. So please check your code. There is a bug in it. Okay. Anyhow, let me see anybody else has done it. Okay, I got one in Java. Let me take that in Java. Public static string reverse vowels. Static is not required here, but yeah, it's fine. I just copy this and I just paste it here. Okay, just copy this and paste it here. This is what I have gone from Java. Just check the function name. Function name is correct. String is there. Just make it public and rest of the things are fine. Yeah. Let me test this code. This is giving sample pass. If I submit it, cool. The Java solution, it has passed all test cases. 8 millisecond, 52.98. This is fine. It has passed all test cases. The C++ code I have got again. So let me just copy and paste it here. Minimize it and replace the new solution that I have got here. Again, it is giving me error. Please check your code. I think there's some compilation error. But anyhow, if it's working fine with you, if it works fine with you locally, it should be fine. Cool, guys. Let me just reset it to the default screen. Yeah, that is the default definition. Cool. Okay, guys, let's discuss the solution. Then we'll go forward from there. Anybody else answering or anybody else wants to test? I will just copy paste and test. Else we can discuss the answer. Okay, one more answer I've got. Utility to check for vowel string str2. This is in again Java. Okay, many Java people here. Let me just check. Copy this. Paste in Java. And replace it here. Run the code. Okay, sample passed. 4 milliseconds. This one is faster than the previous Java code. Okay. But I can see a doing string str to copy of this. This is not good. Reduce the space. You're taking a lot of space here. But anyhow, let's go with C++ and let's discuss this question, guys. I think it's enough time. Now let's discuss the question. I'll copy this as it is. We'll go to Sublime and we'll discuss this question. Then we'll write the code. Okay. Coming back here, this is your question that we have gone from the lead code. So what I've given is just to quickly revising the question. My Sublime is visible to all, right? Is my Sublime text visible to all? Cool. Just to quickly revise the question, what we have to do is we just need to find the vowels and we need to reverse the vowels and put it back in the string. That is one thing we need to do. We don't need to reverse the complete string. We just need to reverse the vowels. We just did a question of reversing the array. And string is what? String is array of characters. So same thing, pretty much same thing. We discussed two approaches while reversing the array. First approach was what we can do is we can create an extra array and we can replace the extra array. That is first part. Second part, we can do two pointer. We just did it like 5 minutes ago. So I think all of you remember, right? First, we can create extra array, or second, we can create it two pointer. These are the two solutions for this question, or we can extend the two solutions for this question. First way can be, a brute force way can be, I can create extra array and then replace. Guys, In the extra array, do I need to replace all the characters or do I need to replace only the vowels? Do I need to replace all the characters or do I need to replace only the vowel? Only the vowels, right? So the extra array that I'm going to create, I'm going to create it only extra array, only vowels. Okay. So time complexity of that solution will become big of n. Space complexity will become big of v, not big of n. That's mistake what people say. Big of v is number of vowels. The extra array that you are creating, you are only storing the vowels because you need only to replace the vowels. Reverse it and replace it. Correct. First part. Second part, I can use two pointer, optimize approach. Optimize approach, I can use two pointer that will work in place solution. Okay, in place solution. That will give me, I'm still writing here, time complexity of big of n, space complexity of big of 1. These two parts are clear to everybody. Yes or no? Just let me know in the chat. Okay. Now, one more thing, guys, understand it. This is one I've noticed in the bug. I see somebody's code and they were writing like if s of I is equal to a, e, I, o, u, etc., etc. First thing first, this a, I, o, u comparison that you are doing, do you need to do it every time? Like every character that you are saying and you have to write the complete line? This is what I was showing when I saw somebody's code. Yeah, if I just do Control Z, not this one, Control Z. Okay, I'm not able to see that code. Yeah, this part. So if you see here, you're doing this comparison, line number 18, line number 23, and multiple places you are covering, right? This part is if condition, this part is again if condition. Do you know what is the problem with this kind of approach? I'm not saying it will not work. It will work. Definitely it will not work. But it is a good developer practice? No. If you have to use it multiple times, what is thing that we use? That is called functions. What is the purpose of function? Your function makes the program more and more modular in nature. Modular in the sense, if I have to use a certain condition multiple number of times, I can just call the function. So instead of using like this condition, what I can simply put is I can create a function. Yeah, reusable and modular, both the condition. What I can do is I can just create a function to check whether it is a vowel or not a vowel. And I can call the function. Agree? I can just create a function to call whether it is vowel or not vowel, and I can create the function. Simple. That's first part. Second part, I have seen somebody, they were writing A, E, I, O, U. Guys, read the question properly. They can appear in both cases. So small A, E, I, O, U and capital A, E, I, O, U, that's what you have to write. Okay. So I will just put it this part and I will code the second approach that I was mentioning about. Okay. Second approach. So I will write the time and space complexity here. Time complexity is going to be big of n. Space complexity is going to be big of 1. Very first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function which will tell me whether it is vowel or not vowel. So I'll be given that string. I'll be given a character and I have to check whether it is vowel or not vowel. I can simply check if that character is equal to a, or just copy this part and keep on changing. Paste it here, paste it here, paste it here, paste it here. 10 times you have to paste it and replace the values A, E, I, O, U. And here also A, E, I, O, U, capital 1. That is fine. We can change the order, so it should not be a problem. A, E, I, O, U and C equal to U. Cool. So this return, if they are equal, they will return 1. Otherwise, if they are not equal, they will return 0. Now coming to the main function. This is called helper function, by the way, guys. Whatever you're using for taking help from it, whatever you're using in your main function, that qualifies as a helper function. Now, in your main function, all I need to do is I need to reverse the string here. Correct? So again, two pointer approach I will use. So I'm going to say integer I equal to 0 and j equal to whatever s dot length I'm given minus 1. Okay. First and last I have got. Next I need to do what? While I less than j. One more thing, guys. Now there are two cases. Either the character will be a vowel or the character will not be a vowel. Agree? In case the character is not a vowel, what should I do? In case the character is a consonant or not a vowel, what should I do? What I'm asking is, those characters which are not vowel, what are you doing? You're not doing anything, right? No, no, no. You are not doing anything. You are not replacing it. You are not reversing it. You are not doing anything. Only the characters which are vowels, that you are replacing. Those which are not vowels, you are not making any operations on it. Okay. That's why when I'm writing this while loop, two conditions I need to be very, very clear. Whether it is vowel or it is not vowel. We know in the case of two pointers, string start plus plus and minus minus, and we used to swap the values, right? In case it is not vowel, I don't need to swap. In case it is vowel, I need to swap. So that condition I'm writing. If I'll call this function is vowel, if not is vowel, star of or s of start. Let's name it as start and end. Let's make it production ready. Start and end, start and end. If s of start is not a vowel, then I'm going to do is start plus plus, and I will continue from here. Nothing to do here. Okay. Same cop. I will just copy it. I will paste it here, and I will adjust it for and also. This will become n minus minus, and I will continue. Okay. Last part. If it is a vowel, then in that case, vowel, you do a swap. So in that case, what you have to do? Swap of s of start and s of end. And obviously start plus plus and minus minus. Ultimately, you have to return the string. Here ends your while loop, and here you are going to return your string. That's all. That is your complete code. I'll submit it, but before that, let me just tell you. So always make a utility, guys, utility, helper, function, whatever you want to call, whenever you have to use multiple number of times. So always make a utility. Do not write multiple if else cases, because in production, you will be writing multiple if else cases in your implementation. Unit test cases will become very difficult, because imagine like nested if else you are creating. So you have to think of all the cases. Unit testing will become very difficult for that. And in case of in case of production, we always prefer 100% code coverage or 90 to 100% code coverage. So that will become difficult, not a good developer practice. So we created a utility here, and in the utility we are calling. In case it is not a vowel, then you start plus plus, continue minus minus. We are not changing anything. In case it is a vowel, though, I'm swapping it, and that's all. Let's test this. Expected this after semicolon. Okay, I have written fine. Do we need continue keyword? Yeah, continue is fine. And minus minus. Typos are always there. Anyhow, sample test case have passed. Let's submit it, and it should pass all test cases. Yes, it has passed all test cases. That is fine. Cool, guys. That is the advantage of this. Is swap a built-in function? Yes, swap is an inbuilt function. So in bits std, swap is an inbuilt function. So don't worry about it. In Python, strings are immutable. So in that case, its complexity is big of n. Yes. In Python, strings are immutable. Yes, in Golang also they are immutable. In Java, swap is there. Yes, Java is there. Swap is there in Java also. Swap is there in C++, swap is there in Java also. Or in case you don't want to use, you can use that with temporary variable or without temporary variable. Can we check for Go solution? You have the code, let me show. If you have the code in Go, give me. We can check for the Go solution. You want me to write the code in Go? Or do you have the code and you want to test for it? I'm asking you. Mine has lot of errors. What do you mean by 90% code coverage? Guys, we cannot discuss everything in one. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll give you the code, goal and code. I'll update in the sheet with the goal and code because as I can see in my submissions, I have not written goal and code, or have I? I have CPP and Java, CPP and Java. I have not written goal and code. I'll do it and update in the sheet. Don't worry. Okay, the sheet that you'll get, notes you will get, will update it. What do I mean by 90% code coverage? Guys, understand one thing. Whatever code you are writing in production, you have to write the test cases accordingly for it. That's what we call as TD development, test-driven development approach. So you think of the test cases and then you write the implementation file. As a good developer, it's always a good idea that your code that you have written in the implementation, it has covered all the cases. That's what I was saying. If you're putting multiple if else, you have to write test cases for this part. You have to write test cases for this part. You have to write test cases for this part. So that is what I was talking by 90% coverage. 90% coverage means, let's say this line is how many? 45 lines. So 90% of 45, that should be test covered. All of that you will understand in production. Production in the sense when you're working there. Cool, guys. This part is done. Let's move to the last question. We have 10, 15. No, we have 15, 20 minutes, right? Let's move to the last question, and that's an interesting question. This last question is, yeah. This we have done. This we have done. This 2D array is easy question, nothing tough in it. This is a good question. Let's take this. Fizzbuzz. Okay. Question is Fizzbuzz. I'm pretty much sure you guys must have heard about this question. But even if you have not, let's see that question. That question is also there on lead code. So let's go to lead code only. Question number this 412, and I'm giving the link of the question in the chat also. Or you can just open Google and you can search for lead code 412. Both is correct. I've given the question link in the chat. Let's start with the question, guys. The question is, you're given an integer n. Read the question carefully. You're given an integer n. Return a string array. Answer is 1 indexed, where answer of I is fizzbuzz if I is divisible by 3 and 5. Answer of I is fizz when I is divisible by 3 only. Answer is buzz when it is divisible by 5 only, and answer is as it is the string when none of the conditions are true. Let's take an input. N equal to 3, I have to go follow 1 base indexing. So I will go from 1, 2, and 3. Is 1 are divisible by 3? No. So output will be 1. Is 2 divisible by 3? No, output will be 3. 3 divisible by 3? Yes, the output will be fizz. Okay. Then I go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2 will be as it is, 4 will be as it is. 3 will be replaced by fizz, 5 will be replaced by buzz. In case of 15, 3 for fizz, 5 for buzz, 9, 6 for buzz, 9 for fizz, 10 for buzz, 12 for fizz, and 15 for fizz buzz. Question clear to all? Just let me know in the chat. This is a very important question. Not important. I will tell you why it is important, because this is a question I can ask to a fresher. I can ask to a SD1. I can ask to a SD2. I can ask to a lead developer. Same question I can ask, and based upon the answer they will give, I can see whatever I have to analyze from their experience. Can you explain again? Okay. Let me take it to this. Constraint n to the power 4, so n square will also pass. Let's copy this. But I don't think you will need n square anyway. But its test cases are weak because 10 to the power 4. Okay. Let's see the question, guys. The question is, you will be given a number, right? All you will be given is a number. Or let me copy paste what you have to complete also. Java, C++, whatever you want to code, just copy this and paste it here. This is the function you need to complete. Okay. So what you're given is, you're given a number as input, and what you have to return is a array of string, vector of string, whatever you call it, right? All you're expected to do is, if n 1 to n, you have to write the complete code. So if I say n equal to 5, what will be the numbers? Number will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Agree? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Agree? Only thing that you're given in the condition is, if divisor of 3, then you say fizz. If divisor of 5, then you say buzz. If divisor of 3 and 5, then you say fizz buzz. Okay. Now, if n equal to 5, if it is not fourth condition, if it is none, then you place as it is. Okay, you got the question, right? Cool. So just to clarify again, in case somebody hasn't got it yet. So 1 will be placed as 1 as it is, 2 will be placed as 2 as it is, 3 will be placed as fizz, 4th will be placed as it is, and 5 will be placed as buzz. As you can see, second test case for reference. 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, as it is here. Okay. Is the question clear to all? Let me know in the chat. Question clear to all? Let me know in the chat. Cool. Again, one more thing I'm repeating. This question, I can ask it to fresher also. I can ask it to 1 to 3 year of experience people also. I can ask it to ST2. I can ask it to ST3. This is such a good question. Why it is such a good question? What is the beauty of this question? That we will see when we start solving it. So this part I will cover later. Before that, this is the function you have to complete. Whatever language you want to complete, let me know. And guys, try to give me production ready code. Coming back to lead code, whatever code you will give me, I will just copy paste and I would like to see if it will pass on test cases or not. Okay. Cool guys, 30 seconds on the clock, your time. What is that? Yeah, 30 seconds on the clock, your time starts now. Please complete the function in whatever language you want, then we'll see it from there. And I told you something that this is a question which I can ask any age group in the sense any experienced person, and based upon the answer, I can say it. So let's discuss what are the expectations when we ask this question from freshers, ST1, ST2, ST3. Okay. When we ask this question from freshers, we usually go for if else or switch case. Whenever hiring contest, whenever we are doing a hiring drive, this is the expectation the freshers will give if else or switch case. SD1s, which is 1 to 3 years of experience typically, 1 to 3 years of experience typically, they will also 99% they will give with this condition. Okay. Then we follow up with them. Can you write it without if else or switch? That is the follow-up question. And determine basing upon what solution they give, that gives us insight about how much actually they're crystal clear with data structure algorithm as well as with other concepts. Then comes about SD2, which is like 3 to 8 years of experience. It can be anything between 3 to 8. And come about SD3, which can be anything between 6 to 15 years of experience. For these two people, we ask different question. The question would be something like, make it extendable, and it will be extendable plus modular. We'll come to that. Modular in terms of complexity. Not modular, extendable plus efficient. Complexity. And there our focus is about seeing their solid principles and other conditions, right? There I can see, and we can actually see design patterns, quality code, design patterns, quality code, and what else? We can see lambda expressions, if the person is comfortable with lambda or not. Many things can be seen. So this is the matrix we usually follow. When we're asking a fresher, this condition we usually analyze. SD1, this is the condition, SD2, this, and this is here. Okay. The matrix is similar here, like design patterns and quality code. But we don't expect lambda for SD2. But some people are really good, so they come with lambda expression as well. Just to tell you in brief. Anyhow, that is not what we are focusing. We are focusing on this question. So let's solve this question first. Okay. Now, guys, one thing is pretty much clear. I have 4 conditions, right? I just have 4 conditions. So just conditions, I will copy paste. I have these 4 conditions. Agree? These 4 conditions I have. Agree or not? Just give me in the chat. 3, 5, 3 and 5 and none. And by the way, 3 and 5 you can also write as 15, because any number which is divisible by both 3 and 5, it will be divisible by 15. Common sense. Any number which is divisible by 3 and 15, it must be divisible by 15 also. So either you write 3 and 5 or you directly write 15, both is correct. Multiples of 15, you have to print fizz bus. Multiples of 3, you have to print fizz. Multiples of 5, you have to print bus. And if it is not a multiple of 3, 5, or 15, I will to print as it is. Now, if I just create a pseudocode of it, pseudocode will be right. There will be a if condition. There will be a else if condition. There will be again else if condition, and finally there will be else condition. 4 conditions if I have to write, it will be like this. Yes or no? 4 conditions. If I have to draw a structure of my code, that structure will look like something this. Now, this is where usually freshers make mistake. I mean, various people can make mistake, but this is where the problem comes. Basics of programming is that, let me take the annotation here. Yeah. Basics of programming is that, when will the program reach line number 1005? Anybody? When will the program reach line number 1005? Correct. Only condition when if condition is not true. When if condition is not true, then only it will go to 1005. Agree? It will go to else if only when 1003 is not correct. When it will come to 1007, it will come when both upper two conditions are incorrect. If is incorrect, else if is incorrect, then it will go to this part. When it will go to else, when all of these three are incorrect. That is very basics of programming, but people make mistake here only. Okay. If condition, if it is correct, it will never go to this part. Else if is incorrect, it will go to else if. Both are incorrect, then it will go to this part. All are incorrect, then it will go to finally else. This part clear to all? Just let me know in the chat. Okay. Now let's see what are the condition and how we can do it. Okay. What people usually write is I modulus 3 equal to 0. They give fizz. I'm just writing a pseudocode here, nothing to do it. Fizz and paste and paste and paste. Just make it as else if, make it as else if, and make it as else. In that else case, you're returning the number. So return I, whatever it is. Okay. 3, 5, 15. This will become buzz. This will become buzz. Is this code correct, guys? If somebody write this piece of code, is this code correct? Not correct. Why not correct? Why not correct? For number 15, 15. Okay. Is 15 the only test case? Is 15 the only test case? Yeah, 15 you write or 3 and you write. Okay, either you write this or you write like this, or you write like this. Both are correct. That is not the problem with this code. That is not what I'm focused on. By the way, you write like this or you write like this, both are correct, just to be clear. Okay, so that is not the problem in the code. Problem is something else. Problem is something else. And problem is here only. See, understand this part. When you are going from smallest to largest, that is where the problem will come. Smallest to largest is the problem. In such kind of questions, always go from largest to smallest. That will never, ever, it will never fail in your code. It will always pass all test cases. Understand this. When you're saying 3, then 5, then 15, this else if will only come when a number is not a number is not a multiple of 3. Agree? This will only come when a number is not a multiple of 3. Now, let's take example of any number. Let's take 3 and 5 if I have to take. These are prime numbers, by the way. So let's make it 15. In case of 15, will this condition be true or false? Will this condition be true or false? This will be true. So will the program reach here? Will the program reach here? It will never reach here. It will print face. It will print face. What is the output? What is the output? Output was face bus. That is what is incorrect with this code. Whenever you're going from smallest to largest part, remember bigger values if you go, if you're starting from smallest to largest, it will always cover the if part. The program will never hit the else or if else condition. That is why it is incorrect. So correct solution is what? Always go from largest to smallest. That will never ever fail any of the test case. Take this condition only, copy this, paste it here, put this condition first, or let me change it here, make it fizz buzz, make it 5, 15, 5, and then 3. Okay, that will become fizz, that will make buzz. This will never ever cause you any trouble, any question or any variation of this. I know some of you people will say, even if I replace 3 and 5, that will work. That is correct. I totally agree to you. If you put 3 here, if you will put 5 here, it will work. But please don't do that. Why don't do that? Because 3 and 5 are co-prime numbers. I hope you guys know about co-prime numbers. 3 and 5 are co-prime numbers. Because no co-prime numbers, right? Basic things. Since 3 and co-prime, that's why even if you replace 3 and 5 here, it will work. If I change this code to something else, let's say 2, 4, 6, your code will fail. So the best solution for this question is always go from decreasing to increasing order. If you're given 2, 4, 6, so 6 first, then 4, then 2. Okay, that will never hit your case. So this should be the best approach to solve it using if-else condition or switch condition, whatever you call, if-else or switch, same approach. This part is clear to all. The reason why this approach does not work, because the large cases or the large numbers, which are multiple of both 3 and 5, or some numbers can be multiple of 5, which are not multiple of 3. In that case, this will give you incorrect result. Okay. So it's better to always go from largest to smallest. It will pass all test cases always. Okay. Can't understand why we can't replace 3 and 5. That's what I'm telling. Since 3 and 5 are co-prime. That's why you cannot, you can replace since they are co-prime. So you can replace else if condition. But if I change this variation to 2, 4, 6, then you cannot write like this. What I'm saying is, this is correct, and copy this. This is also correct. It is correct only because 3 and 5 are co-prime. So you can use 15, 3, 5. It is not a decreasing order, but still you can use it. But remember, if I give you 2, 4, and 6 condition, now your code will start failing it. If you give 6, 2, and 4, it will start failing it. Because 3 and 5 are co-prime numbers. So there is no number which is a multiple of 5 and it is a multiple of 3 and it's not a multiple of 15. There is no case there. But there can be a case in 2, 4, 6, which is a multiple of 2 and 4, not a multiple of 6. So just to be clear with that part. Okay. So always good to go with the safest route. This will pass all test cases. Some people, most of the people actually don't know it. So they write it. It passes all test cases. They are sufficient. That brings on to my next part. So guys, either you write it if else, or either you write it switch case. Any way you can write, both will fine. This part clear to all? Just let me know. Okay, so coming to what I have written here, this part is done, or I can just write it done. Okay, for this is what we ask for freshers, because we need to understand, do they know the basics that when program will reach else if, and why you have to write from largest to smallest. That is the reason behind it. Now coming to SD1, 1, 2, 3 of experience. We ask is, they usually write the code with if else because it's a very popular question, so they know the solution. They write with switch as well. Now when a follow-up comes, can you write it without if else or switch? You are not allowed to use if else or switch. How will you write the code now? You guys tell me. Same function you have to complete, but you are not allowed to use if else or switch. How will you write the code? Okay. What will you do in while? What will you do in while? Come on, guys. It's not that difficult. Just think about, you just have to think out of the box. That's all. If else and switch is not allowed, how you can solve the question? Question can be solved. There are many ways to solve the question. That is where you have to think outside the box. Adding string. String you have to add anyway. Increment count by 3 and by 5 or by 15. Okay. Technically correct, but one more way of doing that. What else? Do while. Why you need a do while? Why you need a do while? Okay, let's get to the basics. If I'm writing for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, I'm doing something here. Okay, I'm doing something here. Let's say I'm putting array of I equal to whatever I'm doing, 5. Okay, and I again write the code and I give array of I equal to 10. What will be the output? If I print array of I now, what will be the output? Will the values be 5 or will the values be 10? If I print the array now, will the values be 5? Will the values be 10? The values will be 10. Why? Because latest changes or the last changes are the latest changes, whatever way you want to call it. Last changes would be latest. Agree? That is the idea. Just think it this way. What you're doing, 15, 15, 5 and 3, that's what you're doing. If you use a for loop or a while loop, whatever loop you want to use, that's not the focus. Focus is you just have to replace or reverse this condition when you're writing loop. So this part, copy this, come here, idea. So first part was intuition. Intuition is this. Intuition is this. Last changes will be retest. And idea is here. Reverse the if else approach. Whatever code you're writing in if else, just reverse it. So what I'm going to do, I have to write the code. I'm just going to write for I equal to 1. If it's 0 based indexing, 1 based indexing, adjust accordingly. I less than n, I plus plus. First part, you are going to cover your result of I to 2 string. Just a number you are going to put I there. Okay. 0 based indexing, 1 based indexing, you guys adjust yourself. You are smart enough to do that, right? Copy this part, paste it, paste it, paste it. Just see what I'm doing. I'm just going in the reverse order. So first part is this else part. Next, I will go to else if. So I equal to 3, I less than equal to n, I plus equal to 3. Next, I will replace it with what? I will replace it with this. Next part, I equal to 5, I less than equal to n, I plus equal to 5. I will replace with bus. Finally, I equal to 15, I less than equal to n, I plus equal to 15. I will replace with this bus. If you observe something, I have not done anything. I have just replaced the values. Same thing I have done, exactly opposite order I'm doing. Why? Because in case you are doing multiple for loops, the last change will be affected. So first it will change all of the values to the string, first loop. After that, whatever multiples 3 will become fifths. Obviously, some multiples of 3 will also have multiples of 5 and 15. So this until this portion, all 15 or all 5 multiples, those were multiples of 3 as well, they will become fifths. When I run this, multiple of 5 will become bus. Now the 15 will become bus. And after this part, 15 multiple will become fifth bus. 5 will remain bus, 3 will remain fifths. This is the approach which we ask for SD1. But what's the significance of doing it in this way? There's no significance as such. We just want to know what can be the possible solutions you can think of. That's why I said it's a follow-up. It's a follow-up question. Like, this is a very popular question, right? So a lot of people know about this. We want to know, can you think outside the box? But isn't this inefficient multiple traversal of the loops? You guys tell me, is it inefficient? Is it actually inefficient multiple traversal of the loops? That part I agree. You are okay. You're traveling n times here. You're traveling n by 3 times here, n by 5 times, n by 15 times. Is it recommended to write 4 loops instead of a single loop? Guys, that understand the logic of follow-up question. Follow-up question is not a primary question. See, primary question you do by whatever method, whichever you find optimized. Follow-up question is just to understand if you can further make it possible in another way. What are possible things you can think of? That is what is follow-up question. That's why I've written specifically, it's asked as follow-up question. Okay. If I talk about time complexity, that will be big of n, first loop, second loop, n by 3, third loop, n by 5, fourth loop, n by 15, which you will cumulatively call as big of n. Slightly more than big of n, but in representation, we call it as big of n. Okay, that was another method using for loop. So first two parts I have covered. This part clear, everybody? This part clear, everybody? Okay. Now coming to SD2 and SD3. What do we ask in SD2? Same question I can ask SD2 and SD3. The thing that I will change here is, SD2 and SD3. I'll ask them a question. Imagine these conditions are transient in nature. Transient means it can change anytime. So as of now, the conditions are constant, right? 3, 5, 15. These three conditions are given. What if conditions are transient? Conditions in the transient in the sense, it means it can be changed at the runtime. Changed at runtime. For example, as of now, you have 1, 3, 5, and whatever you're putting, right? So 3, you are putting fizz, 5, you are putting buzz, and 15, you are putting fizz buzz. Let's say I add two more conditions. Let's say my lucky number is 4. So I will say when 4 comes, print Devang, and any number you can think. When 10 comes, you print Sachin. When 7 comes, you print Dhoni. That jersey number, whatever. So what if I put multiple conditions now? So for these conditions, you were putting multiple if else cases. What if the conditions, the two cases are there. What if there are multiple conditions? First part. Second part, what if the conditions are changed at the runtime? This question we usually ask for SD3s. Okay. This is for SD3. What if conditions are changed at runtime? SD2 we generally go for this part, multiple conditions. Okay. This is multiple conditions. Multiple conditions. Cool. That is how we can ask this question, and based upon the approach they will give, we can decide, not decide, we can, there are multiple things we see when they give the approach, and then we can decide what is the right method for it. You guys agree, right? Conditions can be anything. You cannot say only 3, 5, 15. I can make any conditions I want. So this question we ask to SD2s. What if there are multiple conditions? Now, how will you modify the code? And as a good developer, your good code is, it should be extendable enough to approach new changes with minimum number of code changes. That is the meaning of extendable code. You say your code is extendable, it means if tomorrow the condition changes, suppose user wants something else, client wants something else, do you have to rewrite the complete code? No, that's not a good code. You have to modify little bit conditions there, and it works for all test cases if the condition changes. Okay. Yeah, open close principle. And this we ask for SD3, what if the conditions are changed at a dynamic time or conditions are changed at the runtime? This is the question we ask. If anybody can think of idea, let me know. If not, it's fine. Use a static helper class. Okay. What else? What else? What else? You guys can think that is not like very important. Map object. Okay. What will you do in map object? If you create a map object, what will you do? That's fine, guys. We can have multiple discussions around it. It can be a long system design question itself. This completely can be a system design question itself, by the way. So we'll not take much time on there. We will discuss there. Okay. Just to tell you, this question, this is the question, this is the kind of question I can ask to anybody. And based upon the answer they give, there are various matrices that we compare and come to a solution, how good they are. At least in our knowledge. Okay. Cool, guys. So FizzBuzz question we have completed. I think that is clear to all. And we are ahead of time as well. So let's quickly wrap up the class today, and I will forward from there. Can you provide some answers for SD3? Okay. Why don't you tell me first, then I will give you the answers. Understand one thing. There is something called interface. I hope if you are SD3 or if you're preparing for SD, not even for SD3, even if you're SD2, you will know about interface. This interface is used where you have to make transient changes, right? Whenever new conditions will come, you have to put them in an interface and do. Think it in real product. In real product, you will have some implementation, you will have some interfaces where the business logic will come, and implementation where the code implementation will come. So why don't you create an interface where the transient changes can come, or whatever changes you want to make at the runtime that can come by interface? First part. Second part, in your coding implementation, think of a data structure which can accommodate all the changes. Somebody has given the answer, but I will not disclose more on it. Map is correct, but a very specific type of map is used for that. And which kind of map will you use? Because in Java, there are three maps: hash map, linked hash map, tree map. Correct, factory design pattern. Linked hash map, Java, tree map, hash map, linked hash map, and tree map. Which kind of map will you use? Why do you use that? What complexity it will go? All of these things are taken into picture. Then we come to a solution. But anyhow, this is basic DSA, guys. We are not going for SD3 and all. But if you want to have a discussion, we can have discussion anyhow. Cool. So this is what we have covered, guys. Let's quickly wrap up the class. Then we'll take the next part. So we have covered find to max elements in a single pass that we are able to complete. We have seen various test cases for it, and this is the final code as well. Multiple 5 test cases we have seen. Homework, remember guys, I've given you maximum 3 elements in a single pass. Reverse an array of characters. What is factory design pattern? Guys, design patterns will be a complete class in itself. So I'll not go into that detail. You can just Google design patterns in Java or any languages. You will find singleton, you will find factory and other design patterns. Okay. Coming to reverse an array of characters, we talked about 2 approaches. This approach, guys, please don't go for it. Okay. Until unless interviewer agrees, please don't go for this. Shortcuts, please don't go for this. Solutions, we talked about brute force, creating extra array and then reversing it, or with an in-phase solution in big of 1. Okay. Then we got the final code for it using 2 pointer. Then we did a lead code question, which was reverse vowels in the string. It passed all test case, right? 2 approaches again. We also talked about the advantage of creating a helper function, which will make our code reusable and mobile. Final question we did was lead first question, that is also on lead code. There we discussed all the approaches or possible combination it can be asked for freshers, SD1, SD2, SD3, up to staff software engineers. Okay. And based upon what we require, if else conditions and 4 conditions, we can check for that. That is what we have done so far. Just one thing, guys. In the to-do part, let me just check what is in the to-do. So we'll target that in the next class. Just 1 second. Yeah. These 2 questions, move it down. In the to-do, which we are going to cover in next class, that is something here. Swap without using these questions, and we will start with time and space complexity. And in that, I will tell you a CP trick to pass all test cases. In case you will be interested, I can tell. In case you want me to skip, I can skip. Okay. So I'm just marking it as depends, whatever, it's like conditional. If you will ask me, I will cover. If you want me to skip, I'll skip. It's not part of your DSA course. CP is not part of your DSA course, but if you're interested to know, we can have discussion. Anyhow, but again, guys, I will not tell anything illegal. If you're expecting that I will tell you how to hack the test case and pass it, I'm not going to tell that. I'll tell all the legal ways. I'll tell all the logical ways, which you should know. Not should know, but it will be helpful if you know it, right? Anyhow, coming back to this, that is what we have done. And yeah, any questions, let me check that first. Any assignment for this week and discussion of last week assignment question. Guys, assignments are uploaded on your LMS. I think operations team is the best for it. I am not sure what kind of assignments they're putting, but as far as my knowledge, these are updated on the LMS. Okay. Any matrix question. So if you want to do homework question, I have given you first 2 homework question. First homework question, just try with maximum of 3 elements. So 3 elements you have to find. You have to find in an array maximum 3 elements, 1, 2, and 3. Second, matrix, you can just cover up the basics. So we'll anyhow do question on this on matrix. Cover basics, how to create matrix, how to take input, how to print output, that you can do. Okay. This question I'll be covering in the class anyway. In the next class, we'll start with time and space complexity. Then we'll discuss that. Could you provide some answer for SD3 for this first question? Guys, if I'll start covering it here, it will take a lot of time. I'll give you the idea. You can discuss that. Can we solve by one loop only like this? A of I plus 3 is first, A of I plus 1. That is also one loop only. A of I plus 15, A of I plus 3 as this, A of I plus 15 as this bus. What you're telling me is you are iterating over 3, then iterating over 5, iterating over 15. What about the fourth condition when it is not a multiple of 3 by 15? Then you're putting A of I equal to string of that. That's what you're saying. That will not pass the test case because you're implementing I plus equal to 15, right? So next value first will be 0, next will be 15, next will be 30. So that a of I condition will not work. But yeah, this I plus 3, I plus 5, I plus 15, you can do. But that fourth condition, when it is not of these three conditions, that will not work. Yeah, it will override. Cool, guys. I think this part is sufficient. Yeah, somebody is giving the answer. Interface, declare all the methods, class implement interface, wherever you want. Many ways are there, guys. Just you can discuss around it. We can have discussion around it, but I'm not taking this course for low-level design or ST3 level. This is a DSA course. Let's focus on DSA part. Okay. Cool. What can be the possible approaches and follow-up question that I have discussed? Even this for loop is not important, but if somebody asks, you should know multiple ways. It can be done in that way also.